Hey everyone, it's Coach Collins with Elevates Coaching, and I'm really excited to dive into the second video in my Entrepreneur Clarity series. And this is an important one because it's one of those key stumbling blocks that a lot of founders and entrepreneurs have, and a lot of business leaders too. And the challenge is that you don't really understand what the cost of living in chaos and lacking that clarity is doing to you and the people around you. So today I wanted to dive in because you might think that you don't have the time to get clear, but believe me, staying unclear is costing you a lot more than slowing down ever would. And here's why. Here are the 4 costs of living in this chaos instead of addressing it to find your clarity. So first of all, you've got your mental cost, and it starts with that wasted cognitive energy. So you're going to notice it when decisions that should take just minutes to decide on are taking you hours. It could take you days. I've seen a lot of time where it takes people weeks and months sometimes to make a very simple decision that could affect their long-term outcome, and they should be doing that immediately. The next mental cost is your decision fatigue. And the problem is that the more decisions that you have to make and the more things that you're faced with, they compound. That energy that it takes, that cognitive load, each unclear decision is making the next one harder. And the third element of your mental cost is that the mental noise is actually drowning out the signal. I know in my previous video, I talk about a lot of leaders reacting and addressing what's loud versus what's important. So when you're in a place of this chaos and you're lacking that clarity, you've got an information overload when you don't have the right integration. So if you're not bringing in the right things at the right time, it's just a lot more mental noise, and it's drowning out the important signals, the things that you should be paying attention to help you move through your day and help your business to continue forward. The second big cost is the lost opportunity cost. And this is the one where I think a lot of leaders start to make sense of it because it directly relates back to your metrics. So one of the big problems without that lack of clarity, you're running into huge missed strategic opportunities. You might be too reactive to see the horizon. And so for example, you might need to be making a certain hire or a certain fire sooner than later. And because you've got all of this chaos floating around in your head, it's just something that you're going to push off longer. There could be a certain partnership that you should be making now and focusing your attention on now, but instead you're focused on all of that other noise that's going on in the background. So one of the other elements of the opportunity costs that you're missing out on is because you're a little bit fragmented and all over the place, you're delaying and making poor decisions. And because of that, again, you're losing so many different opportunities that might be sitting in your lap that you could take action on now, and instead you're putting it off till later. One of the reasons that that's happening often with the leaders that I work with is they have a huge challenge delegating effectively. They have unclear priorities, which means you've got this unclear direction for the team. So when you're not clear, it's all going to trickle down to everybody else. So you better be damn well sure that you're clear on what the goal is and what the priorities are for your team. Everyone's counting on you to have that clarity. So if you're not taking care of that, you're going to stall your growth because your business can only grow as fast as your clarity. Now, the third cost of being unclear and lacking clarity in your life and your business is the relational cost. This is the one that got me personally when I started living in this place of chaos. Was I had extremely strained partnerships, and when you are unclear internally, you're going to have very poor communication externally. So a lot of the things that your partner might be telling you, or associates, It's what you're hearing and what you're interpreting between your ears is not necessarily what they're saying and what they're trying to communicate. And if you're able to put down some of that chaos, some of that mental load, and truly listen, you're going to hear a lot more nuance, and you're going to hear what's truly important. And you might find that some of those things that are being communicated need to be acted on now. The other element of your relational cost, aside from the cost in your family, in your partnerships, with your colleagues, you're going to have huge team misalignment. Because if you're overloaded and you can't communicate effectively and work with the leadership, they don't understand what's going on. Again, this is the trickle-down routine where they're trying to fulfill your need, and so are the people that are serving them. It all becomes this place of chaos where nobody understands what's going on. So when you can be really clear on that, you're really helping your workplace culture, and you're reducing the stress for everyone else. It's not just you that's stressed out. Believe me, the team, if they really care about your vision and what you're doing, they're going to be stressed out too. So don't do that to them. You've got this huge emotional spillover from work and from those priorities that is going to come into your life. And that's something that happened to me. Was I found that a lot of what I was doing, I was taking home with me. And that's not necessarily the best place to do that. If you've got a lot of stress at work, go talk to a coach, go talk to a therapist, go offload to somebody that isn't there for you at home. Well, they can be there for you, but I mean, it's not your job to dump on them, and it's not their job to take it. And finally, one of the biggest costs that comes right before burnover is your identity cost. And when you've got all of this chaos going on in your head, in your business, in your life, one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to find out that you're going to be trapped by what you've built. And every setback is going to feel personal. Everything that's happening in business feels like it's happening to you. And you start losing connection to what really matters. Your original values, they're buried under those obligations that you have day in and day out. And one of the things that you'll start to notice is you start to build your identity not around who you are, but around some of the KPIs and things that are happening in the business. Because if you can move one of those little pieces forwards, it feels like you're moving forwards in your life, right? But really, it's just business. And business doesn't love you like your family loves you, or your friends, or your support networks. So 3 things that we avoid when we're trying to get that clarity is we're trying to avoid the slowing down, because everything's crazy and we have to deal with everything now. There's fires all over the place. And the idea of slowing down, it feels unproductive, but it's what's really necessary. You're revealing a lot of the uncomfortable truths in your life when you take that moment and look at, oh my God, what am I doing? And there's this idea that we can just continue to push through. I'm somebody that I can push through just about anything. And I thought I was doing just that 2 years ago when I was just continuing to push. It was all for a greater good. It was all for getting us to the promised land. And I tell you, because I experienced real burnout where my body gave out and I didn't even know it could be a thing. So one of the most important things, one of the most important choices that you can make as an entrepreneur that's experiencing that chaos, that place of discomfort where everything's all over the place and you're feeling a little fragmented, is take that time for yourself and slow down and unplug yourself from that system. Take a moment, build a little bit of awareness as to what's going on in your life, what's going on around you, and start to think about maybe some of those priorities that you have in your life. What's really, truly important to you? What are you going to get back at the end of the day? How do you want people to look at you? How do you want to be remembered? What's going to be your legacy? So if this resonated with you, I hope you got something out of it. If you could use a little bit more help shaking out some of those questions and building that clarity, let me know. Drop a comment, drop a clarity in the comments. I checked these. And we can talk, and I can get you into a free session, because I'm opening up 8 free sessions for leaders that are experiencing this right now. And if we can get that little bit of clarity and get you moving in the right direction, then it's worth it to everybody. Your family's going to appreciate it. Your team's going to appreciate it. And you're going to feel much better, much more relieved at the end of the day. So stay tuned for the next video set. And again, if this is something that resonates and you want to reach out, drop me a link, DM me, and I look forward to catching you soon. Have a phenomenal day.